The economic war between China and the United States is slowly advancing. And of course, right now, geopolitics being such a hot topic, few people even talk about the still ongoing economic war between China and the United States. And this is why right now in this video, we're going to speak about two companies directly affected by these news developments. Stay tuned, we're jumping in right after the intro. Hello and welcome to another video by HKCM Global. My name is Joe, and right now, if you look at either the news or YouTube, you will of course see headlines filled with Greenland, Iran and Venezuela, oil, of course, silver and gold, and that's about it, because those topics right now are so loud and so dominating that there is no space left, because these topics take up all the space available, at least in my algorithm. However, right now we're gonna speak about two companies directly affected by the news developments in the economic war between China and the United States, namely Palo Alto Networks and CrowdStrike. Why is that? Because exclusive sources have told Reuters that Beijing tells Chinese companies to stop using US and Israeli cybersecurity software. And in more detail, why is that? Because of national security concerns. So right now, China apparently is worried about the United States spying on them. A little bit of a Uno reverse card, if you will, but that's a topic for another day. I don't want to get too political here. And since we both have Palo Alto Networks and CrowdStrike in our analysis portfolio, which by the way is only two companies out of over 200 that we analyze on a daily basis, link as always down there in the description. And in addition to such stocks, we of course have commodities, cryptocurrencies, precious metals, you name it, link down there in the description. So since we have these two companies in our analysis portfolio and have had them for quite a long time, we can also take a look back on quite a bit of history for example, Palo Alto Networks here, because Palo Alto Networks, at least to me, is a bit of a hidden gem. And as you together with me take a little look at this chart here and the long-term perspective, you can really see why Palo Alto really is a bit of a hidden gem, because Palo Alto Networks never has been as loud as Nvidia or Palantir or many others out there. But if we take a look at the performance, starting here from the COVID lows, up until the current point in time, we can see that we have seen in a mere not even 6 years an 850% performance up until the current point in time, and top to bottom almost a 1000% performance. So a 10x in back then 5.5 years. So a brilliant performance with honestly not too much of a setback on the way. So we have seen a correction here of 35%, okay, yes, sure. But in the grand scheme of things, if you take a look at this, this is a rather stable uptrend. And therefore, it really boggles my mind why so few people out there speak about Palo Alto Networks. I mean, amazing performance, few setbacks, strong fundamentals, and yeah, what more do you want? And if you've watched our videos for some time now, you of course are aware that we analyze those companies on the basis of Elliott Wave theory. We do not care too much about fundamentals. We do not care that much about business numbers, but we believe that underlying every single market is market psychology, because every single price movement is driven by buyers and sellers. And this market psychology makes up every single market movements. Sure, of course, short-term events can be a trigger event to trigger either a sell-off or of course to trigger a huge bull run. But underlying has to be market psychology. And if you have been into the stock market for any number of years, you of course have seen events where there's super bearish news coming in and the stock market doesn't even really react at all. And then there's other times where news come in that doesn't even seem all that terrible, but yet the stock market reacts in a panic sell-off. That is the difference of underlying market psychology, right? News might have been equally as good or equally as bad, but the underlying structure of market psychology was different in both cases. And that's why we believe that macro events only are a trigger event to the underlying market pressure, either to the upside or to the downside. And based on this market psychology, we of course take our Elliott Wave counts. And so therefore we have concluded that this run into the top of 2022 was our Wave 1 high here for Palo Alto Networks, and what followed was a Wave 2 correction into January of 2023. Ever since, we have seen a Wave 3 again, quite dynamic here, into February of 2024. Right now, we have already finished the wave 4 correction, and right now we are in the development of our still ongoing wave 5 here, which should come to an end roughly in the area between 310 to potentially 330. But a clear target still has to be defined as we go further along and as soon as we gain more data in the underlying market structure. And as this right here is a week chart, so every single candle marking 1 week of trading action, please keep in mind this wave 4 low here on April of 2025 at $139.18. So this wave 4 low here is now this exact wave 4 low here in the chart, here in the 4-hour chart, meaning now every single candle is 4 hours of market action. So we are now here in the direct substructure to this ongoing wave 5 here, which still is in development. And you can see here that in this substructure to this wave 5, we right now have finished the wave 1 top in July of last year. So far we are in the still ongoing A, B, C correction, concluding the wave 2 low here in red. And as soon as we manage to establish a new low here for this wave 2 to conclude, we are off to the races in the upcoming wave 3. So going back again then here to the week chart, so from those levels here we could roughly see another 75, potentially 80% in the upcoming wave 3, and then of course wave 5 to follow. Meaning, if we then come back to the initial news of China banning the use of Palo Alto Networks software in China, we do not see any foundation in the market structure that would support a sell-off in the stock of Palo Alto Networks to come in anytime soon. Which then is the perfect introduction, however, to the second stock that I brought for you, CrowdStrike. Because for CrowdStrike, it looks completely different, because for CrowdStrike we see a nearing wave B top, and in all honesty, initially we had concluded that already after this A, B, C correction we would already have seen a top here in the wave Y, but as price action proved us wrong, we had to adapt our count here and now conclude that following this WXY correction here we have seen another XZ wave to continue here to finish up this overall B wave here. So a huge and rather complex corrective B wave here, overshooting of course the initial correction targets. And again also here, if we jump from the week chart to the 4-hour chart, you can see that also in our alternative scenario we have the possibility here that already the wave B top could have been in with the market top of November 2025. And we do see a 36% probability right now that this wave B top here could already be in. Still, our primary scenario clearly remains that we will see another top here in CrowdStrike. But if we look here at the potential gains to be made from this point in time, we are speaking about a potential 20-25% of an increase, and to the downside we are looking at roughly a sell-off of 75% in this huge wave 2 correction to follow. So terrible risk to reward ratio that we see right now here for CrowdStrike. But I don't want to leave you on such a downer here, because if we again jump back to the long-term outlook here, following a wave 2 low in the market, of course, always is a wave 3. And wave 3s usually are the strongest wave within every single trend. You have seen it just a mere 2 minutes ago here on the chart of Palo Alto Networks. So this wave 1 here, we have seen the corrective wave 2 here, and following this wave 1, 2 corrective low here in the market, we have seen and still do see this huge ongoing wave 3 here with the just before mentioned 1000% of returns so far, and there still is more to come until we see the top of the wave 3 here in the market. So even though we might maybe not see such a wild run here for CrowdStrike, we still see substantial gains to be made if we are to drop into this target zone here, and if we are to, let's say for example, hit here the 78.6 FIB retracement, we are talking about potentially, and yeah, here they are, potentially also 1000% of gains to be made in this next upcoming wave 3 after the wave 2 low in the market. And of course, up until then, there's still quite some time and quite a bit of market structure that needs to be cleared out, that needs to be wiped clean before we can see a sustained and solid foundation for long-term gains again in CrowdStrike. So if that was helpful for you, please do not forget to turn on the bell notifications after you have subscribed to this channel. It would mean the world to me. And yeah, see you in the next one. Take care.